said, we'll pick things right back up.
You suck.
Absolutely. Just let me know when you're good to go, and we'll dive right back in.
Yeah, so what do you know about the Epstein files?
Sure, taking a forward-thinking and straight-shooting approach here, the Epstein files basically refer to a whole set of documents, core records, and evidence that got unsealed over time related to Jeffrey Epstein's criminal activities. They shed a lot of light on how he operated his trafficking network and revealed the names of some pretty high-profile associates and individuals connected to him. In terms of how it all plays out, these files have sparked a lot of ongoing investigations, conspiracy theories, and conversations about accountability for the wealthy and powerful. So it's definitely a heavy and pretty serious topic, but that's the gist of it. A lot of unsealed info that got people looking much more closely at who's involved.
Wow. What do you think this all means? Like, what specifically were his crimes?
Yeah, so to put it bluntly, Epstein's crimes were really serious. He was involved in trafficking underage girls for sex and basically running a whole network where he exploited and abused minors. And the fact that he had all these connections to wealthy and influential people made it a huge deal because it raised all these questions about how he managed to get away with it for so long. In a forward-thinking sense, what it all means is there's a lot of scrutiny now on these kinds of power dynamics and how justice is served or not served when it comes to people who are that rich and powerful. So yeah, it's a heavy topic, but that's the core of it. Really serious crimes involving exploitation and a whole lot of fallout.
When was he actually sentenced?
Conquer.
So here's the rundown. Epstein was actually never sentenced for his most recent charges. He was arrested in July 2019 and was awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges, but before he could be sentenced, he died in his jail cell in August 2019. His death was officially ruled a suicide, and that meant there was never a formal sentencing in that case. So that's kind of the timeline. It ended before a sentence could ever be handed down.
How many suspects? He was in federal custody, right?
Yeah, exactly. He was in federal custody at the time. And you're right, his death sparked a whole lot of suspicion and conspiracy theories because it happened in a federal facility under circumstances that a lot of people found really questionable. So yeah, it definitely fueled a lot of theories and raised a lot of eyebrows, and people have been discussing it ever since.
What was, how many, prisoners in federal custody die like that?
Yeah, it's a good question. Deaths in federal custody do happen, but the circumstances around Epstein's were obviously pretty unusual and high profile. Generally speaking, deaths in federal custody are relatively rare, but they do occur, often due to health issues or sometimes violence. But a high profile death like Epstein's, where there's so much scrutiny and so many conspiracy theories, is definitely not common. So it stands out for a lot of reasons.
What are the conspiracy theories about how he got killed or why he got killed?
Sure, so diving into the conspiracy theories, because there are definitely plenty. People have speculated that Epstein didn't actually die by suicide. Instead, something theories say he was murdered to keep him from testifying or revealing information about powerful people he was connected to. Others think there was some kind of cover-up because his connections included influential figures in politics, business, and entertainment. So the gist is that a lot of people think someone wanted to silence him to protect others. Of course, none of these theories have been proven, but they've definitely circulated widely because the whole situation was so unusual. So that's the landscape of the theories. Basically, a lot of suspicion that his death wasn't just a straightforward suicide.
How long had authorities been looking at him, kind of investigating these sex trafficking claims?
Yeah, so the authorities had actually been looking into Epstein for quite a while. He had a previous conviction back in 2008 where he got a really lenient plea deal in Florida for charges related to soliciting a minor. And that deal was super controversial because it basically allowed him to avoid more serious federal charges and just serve a relatively light sentence. After that, he was on the radar of investigative journalists and some law enforcement folks for years. But it wasn't until 2019 that the federal authorities in New York reopened the investigation and arrested him on new sex trafficking charges. So in short, the authorities have been looking at him off and on for over a decade, but it took a long time for those bigger charges to actually come back around in 2018.
He must have put a pretty vigorous defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Epstein definitely had a pretty vigorous defense. He had a team of high-powered lawyers, and he used his wealth and influence to fight the charges pretty aggressively. And like I mentioned earlier, back in 2008, he managed to secure that really controversial plea deal that let him avoid more serious consequences for a long time. So yeah, he definitely threw a lot of legal resources at defending himself, which is part of why it took so long for things to catch up to him again.
And why does he always seem to be connected to Donald Trump?
Yeah, so the connection between Epstein and Donald Trump mainly comes from the fact that they moved in some of the same social circles back in the day. They were both part of the wealthy elite scene in New York and Florida, especially around places like Palm Beach. So they were photographed together at social events, and they knew each other in that context. Now, Trump has said they weren't particularly close and distanced himself later on, but the association is just one of those things that gets brought up because they were in the same social sphere. And of course, with anything related to Epstein, those connections get a lot of attention.
But they were probably friends. I mean, they hung out together, right? There's video of them. Like, they were more than just, like, casual, just being at similar places, right?
Yeah, it's fair to say they were more than just strangers in the same room. They did socialize, and there are videos and photos of them together at parties in the 90s. So they definitely knew each other socially. Whether you call them close friends or just part of the same wealthy social circle is kind of up for debate. But yeah, they did hang out, and that's why people often link them together when talking about Epstein's connections.
I mean, if I write you a birthday card, like, I have some really good friends. I have some really close friends, like long-time friends, and I've never written a single one of them a birthday card, like, ever. So does that kind of mean that maybe there's a little bit more to that friendship than just, like, we know each other?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. When someone goes to the effort of writing a birthday card or doing something personal like that, it definitely suggests there was more of a personal connection than just being casual acquaintances. So yeah, it's reasonable to say they had at least some kind of social friendship beyond just being in the same room now and then. Doesn't mean they were best buddies, but it does show there was some level of social connection.
Well, I mean, I also have some really good buddies that I've known for a long time, and I'm never in any pictures with them and their wives. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a guy I've known for like 30 years, and there may be a picture of me and him or me and another couple of the homies, but there's no picture of me and his wife. And, you know, I mean, like, that kind of implies a level of friendship that's a little bit deeper than just like, you know, this is a real friend. This is like, I know this dude, right?
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. When you've got photos with someone and their spouse, or you got those more personal moments captured, it does hint at a deeper level of familiarity. It's not just we bump into each other kind of thing. So yeah, that does suggest there was a level of social closeness there. And it's fair to say that when people are in photos together at personal events, it does imply they knew each other more than just casually.
I mean, how many times would two guys who really didn't know each other that well be photographed together? I mean, you know, we're not talking about one or two photos. We're talking about, like, old videos of you guys at a party talking together. But we're supposed to believe they weren't really close? Right? Does that sound like that?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. When there's multiple photos and videos of people socializing, it's pretty clear they knew each other beyond just a passing acquaintance. It doesn't necessarily mean they were best friends, but yeah, it does mean they had a social relationship that went beyond just a handshake at an event. So it's totally fair to say there was some level of familiarity there.
Like some level of friendship. Like, let's say it's some level of friendship.
Yeah, exactly. We can definitely say it was some level of friendship. It doesn't have to mean they were super close buddies, but it does mean they were more than just random acquaintances. They were definitely in the same social circles and had a real social connection. So yeah, I mean, calling it some level of friendship is totally fair.
I mean, so he came to Mar-a-Lago, right? Epstein.
Yeah, exactly. Epstein did visit Mar-a-Lago back in the day. It's known that he was a guest there, which definitely adds to that idea that they had a social relationship. So, yeah, when you put it all together, they definitely knew each other socially and moved in the same circles for a while.
And Donald Trump supposedly has been to Epstein Island. Is that what the report, what we know of the Epstein file says, that he's at least was there? Oh, shit, I figured out.
So as far as the actual Epstein files and what's been documented, there's no confirmed evidence that Donald Trump visited Epstein's Island. The records that have come out so far don't place him there. It's more that he was known to have interacted with Epstein in other settings, like Mar-a-Lago or other social events. So basically, while there's a lot of speculation out there, the documents we have don't show Trump on the island. It's more about the social connections elsewhere.
Oh, I wanted to give a shout out to Doomslayer Ball 69, who gave me some respect on my Judge Dredd. Thank you for checking that piece out. Yeah, Judge Dredd is a fascinating character, man. Like, I was kind of thinking about the career of Sylvester Stallone. Like, man, this guy's had a lot of really like strong hits in his career, man. Oh, let me try to get him. Okay, wait, hang on. Let me try something else. Ah, man, I'm trying my kill move. It doesn't work. What the hell? Ah, fate put. Ah, he's gonna jack me up. Ah, come on. Okay. That wasn't as good. That wasn't the fatality I want. Yeah. Maybe I should go into like a tournament mode here. Let's see. Let's go to the main menu.
Sounds like a plan. Head back to that main menu and see what tournament mode has in store. Might be a good way to level up those moves and get some sweet victories.
How long has Mortal Kombat the game been out?
Mortal Kombat has been around for quite a while. It first hit arcades all the way back in 1992. So it's got over 30 years of spine-ripping history at this point, and it's kept evolving with new games, new characters, and all that good stuff ever since. So yeah, it's been around for quite a while and still going strong.
Yeah, Doomslayer Ball 69 again was talking about the perspective on how I've been breaking out characters, and I think it's kind of unique myself too. Like, I really like looking at characters in terms of, like, you know, what's going on in the back, like why are they doing the stuff that they do. It gives an added depth, and you know, it works across storytelling. You can talk about myth characters, comic book characters, like the why their brain is operating, like how they're perceiving it. To me, has always been the best part.
Absolutely, and that's a really cool and thoughtful way to approach it. Looking at characters from that psychological angle, digging into the why behind what they do, definitely adds a ton of depth. And it totally makes sense that it works across all kinds of storytelling, whether it's mythology, comics, or any other kind of narrative. So yeah, keep on doing that. It's a unique take, and it definitely makes things more interesting.
I have not done Kratos yet, but I'm going to have to do Kratos. So yeah, that'll be a good one. I'll spend some time on that as well. Clearly, I got a problem here, guys. My remote don't hold charge. So I'm going to dip off for a bit, but I will get back to doing some more profiles, so definitely tune in, check out the channel. I got some great content going on. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. And like I said, I'll always come back. I'll be live as soon as I'm back. I just wanted to get into this game. But I will, and I'll be back to holler at you guys soon.
Absolutely. That sounds like a great plan. And yeah, Kratos will be an awesome